Now, when I did my bachelor's degree at Hebrew University of Jerusalem, I worked as an archaeologist over one summer, excavating an ancient site, and I literally spent an entire summer removing dirt from a dirt floor. It sounds ridiculous, and at times I was working with a toothbrush because the dirt floor was a certain consistency and color, and I had to remove the dirt from it. And what I've realized is that's kind of what we all need to do when we're trying to get to Scripture and cut through the tradition. And especially from my upbringing in Judaism, we would say, "Oh, that's in the Bible." I mean, even they joke about it in The Fiddler on the Roof. Tevye says, he says, "That's in the good book." But that's authentic. I meet people all the time who say, "Well, that's in the Bible." Really, where is it? Well, I know it's in the Bible. And they read the whole Bible and I'm like, huh, how is it not in there? You think it's in there because your rabbis told you it was in there. And so
we saw a movie. We saw the movie play.
Right. So what we need to do is remove the dirt from the dirt floor, which takes it can be challenging at times because the dirt looks just like the dirt floor unless you know to discern the two. And that's really what I've realized I think we all need to do is there's these layers and layers of tradition that are covering this beautiful floor of the Scripture, and we've got to remove them and get to the original thing. And that can be challenging at times, but it's so worthwhile. You mentioned about truth, and I found out something about myself about 4 years ago, Michael, that you probably don't know. I don't know if I've shared this with you. I've shared it with a few people. So I found out.
Well, I think share it with the world now.
So I found out that I have a form of autism called Asperger's, and one of the characteristics of this autism is an obsession with truth. And I'm talking about like a woman says, "Do I look good in this dress?" And I tell her. And I'm like, "Don't ask me a question you don't want the answer." And it really is an obsession with truth, even to the point where maybe it offends people. And other people may get to that truth as well, but they have this filter in their head that says, "Oh, I know I shouldn't say that. That will upset everybody." And somebody like me with autism just says what's on their mind. And focuses and follows that truth to its logical
that really explains a lot.
It
explains a lot. And this is something that Shaul says in his letter to the believers in Thessalonica. Because they receive not the love of the truth, God will send them a strong delusion. And it's like the love of the truth is something that is offered. In order to not receive it, it has to be available. And so it's, I look at it as like the Almighty is giving everyone, is offering them, do you want to love the truth? Because you can never get enough of what you love.
Yeah.
And you receive that love of the truth, even in this gift, this autistic gift.
And it's been a
right
challenge.
from the fourth grade. I mean, you're compelled, you were driven. Wasn't it in high school, everyone called you the Karaite in high school, just rejected?
I was a Karaite in high school. I mean, imagine this is like going to a Catholic school. Imagine Martin Luther is in Catholic high school and he's known as the Protestant, and he's the only one in the world as far as anybody knows at the time. I mean, there's others, but we didn't know that. There was no internet, and there were certainly none to speak of where I grew up in Chicago. But this autism sometimes can be a challenge. Especially interacting with people. Sometimes I say things I shouldn't say and I offend people. And also the other thing is I don't pick up on certain things, especially related to emotions. And I tell people, if you're angry with me, you've got to say, "I'm angry with you," because I will not pick up on cues. I completely miss that stuff. But on the other hand, I'm like a pit bull with a bone when I get to the truth. I just won't drop it. And this is what I realized looking back now at fourth grade is everybody figured out what I figured. I didn't have any special insight that other people didn't have. Everybody saw what I saw. It was obvious, but they knew to keep their mouth shut, or maybe they said it once and they got their hand slapped and then they shut up. Where I'm like, but this is true. I don't care if everybody else is telling me I'm wrong. You all must see this is true. It's obvious that especially with, when I was talking about the oral Torah, this is a bunch of rabbis arguing 2,000 years after Moses. This has nothing to do with the revelation of Moses on Mount Sinai. So to me, I was just stating the obvious. And look, this has been a blessing, and it's been had challenges with it. But realizing that this is how my brain works has actually been really important for me, because it made me realize, okay, other people think differently than I do, and I can now bridge that gap and say, okay, I just don't understand why people are behaving the way they're behaving, why they see the truth and they don't respond to it and react to it, why they how they have this way of ignoring it. And I realize now, okay, people just, their brains are made differently than God made my brain. And I'm thankful the way he made me.